And we are tracking a fall storm bringing rain, the possibility of some mudflies. In fact, evacuation warnings have been posted for some of our burn scar areas. We'll get into the details coming up with your first alert forecast.
Melissa.
Colleen and Michael, this is an early season fall storm that's bringing with it a lot of rain, locally heavy, and a lot of cold air as well. So you can see satellite and radar. We've got the center of that storm out across areas in northern and central California, rain for Redding, down across areas in San Francisco. But what we're tracking is this area of low pressure that will continue to sag to the south overnight tonight and into our Tuesday. We'll tap into that south to southwesterly wind that brings in a lot of moisture. We've got rain, even some high elevation snow. So before the rain arrives, it's all about the wind. A wind advisory has been posted for LA and Ventura County mountains, as well as San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Will have winds gusting anywhere from 45 to 55 miles per hour. Then overnight tonight, and as we wake up tomorrow morning, just in time for that ride into work, we've got a wall of water approaching from the west to the east. So there is a big concern. We do have flood watches posted across our region, and more specifically, the flooding concern is for our burn scar areas. We had the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, just a couple of examples here. So this is from tonight into your Tuesday afternoon. So we'll talk about the weather headlines and what we can expect. An early season fall storm on the way. It's moving in from west to east overnight into our Tuesday. The peak intensity in terms of the moisture will likely be for that ride into work, for that morning commute. Rainfall rates anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to an inch of rain per hour. This is a much colder storm with high elevation snow. We'll break it down and go over the timeline and the rainfall totals coming up with your first alert forecast. Colleen, back over to you.
All right, Melissa, and you. Alex, thank you for that. We're going to take you outside right now. Live look from Mount Wilson, and this really does sort of say it all. This is Mount Wilson, right?
I mean, Mount Wilson, that's what they tell me.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I know. We've got the clouds moving on through. So the moisture is starting to develop. We're tracking a storm system moving on through, the first one of the season. Rain, wind, even some high elevation snow. So we'll get into those details. Colleen and Michael show you what's going on. Here's a live look outside as we're looking at downtown on this Monday. Hard to believe we've got a big storm coming because over the weekend we had a lot of sunshine, temperatures in the 70s and 80s. That was not the case today, and that will not be the case tomorrow. So we are tracking some rain widespread across our region as we go throughout the overnight hours and throughout the day tomorrow. Moderate to locally heavy rainfall will be on the way. Also, it's going to be a much colder afternoon. Temperatures a good 10 to 15 degrees below average, and also that mountain snow that will be on the way, especially above 6,000 feet. We could pick up a few inches, so we're tracking that as well. Look at the numbers. The high temperature yesterday for the basin, and it's 79 degrees, and today we only had numbers in the lower 60s. It's currently 69 West Covina, 65 Santa Clarita, Thousand Oaks, and it's 65 degrees, and we've got 46 chilly degrees there in Big Bear. Also, the other factor before the moisture arrives, the winds are pretty gusty. We've got that wind advisory for LA and Ventura counties, as well as the mountains and the deserts for San Bernardino and Riverside counties, close to 40 miles per hour there in Lancaster. We've got a gust in Santa Clarita up to 25 miles per hour, even breezy along the coast there in Long Beach as well as Santa Ana. So this is the culprit. This is what we're tracking. Satellite and radar showing you we've got the showers, even some high elevation snow setting up across northern and central California. This sweeps inland, approaching southern California as we head throughout the overnight hours and into our Tuesday. So there's a big flooding concern. We've got flash flood warnings for areas like Big Bear all the way down across inland Orange County and the Inland Empire. But the big concern for flood watches is really right along our burn scar area. So the Franklin fire, the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire tonight right through Tuesday. Excessive runoff is a big concern. Debris flow as we are tracking some high rainfall rates across the region. Let's time this out for you. Futurecast showing you that it's very possible later on tonight we've got some spotty activity. The moisture comes in from a west-east direction. So by 11 p.m. the rain is approaching Ventura County. Then overnight it sweeps out of Ventura County into LA County. 5 o'clock in the morning when Belen de Leon is back on monitoring conditions for today in LA. We've got widespread locally heavy rain across our region just in time for your morning commute. And then this moisture quickly races on off to the east, impacting Orange County and the Inland Empire by the mid to late morning hours right through the lunchtime hour. Then afternoon, you could see by 3 p.m. we just have some scattered activity across the area. So we'll talk about the rain timeline here, when and where. The rain spreads from west to east, and the peak time to watch really for a good portion of our region region from 5 a.m. to noon. Tomorrow, rain amounts 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. The foothills in the mountains, 1.5 inches to 3 inches locally. The impacts down trees, isolated thunderstorms, and that big flooding concern, which could lead to some debris flow, especially for our burn scar areas. So we'll keep you posted. It's a colder day tomorrow. We clear out on Wednesday. Temperatures do moderate as we head into the back half of this work week into our upcoming weekend. 62 degrees only for the valley, 61 for the Inland Empire. We're drying out on Wednesday, then temperatures back up into the upper 70s and the 80s for the end of our work week into our weekend. High desert 57 with the threat of those pop-up storms, 73 for the low desert. We're drying out on Wednesday, and the mountains, it's possible above 6,000 feet. You could pick up a few inches of snow, so we'll keep you posted with that. That is a look at your forecast. Mario's up next to sports.